as I'm healing from this gunk, I needed a good solid laugh, kids. I needed something. You know, you guys know I'm a big Mike Myers fan. Maybe you don't. For all the controversy and shit that he's had over the years, I just want to say, Mike, if you need a friend, I'm here for you, buddy. Anyways, Mike, and if you haven't watched The Pentaverate, I highly recommend it. And you know, he had a few really solid sketches back in the day, that on SNL that had some legs, not just Wayne's World, but if you'll recall, Sprockets. Do you guys remember Sprockets? His sort of German fetish bar talk show thing. So leftover groundling shit, because they were always turned into a talk show. That's where they simplify things. It's where SNL writing annoys me. That's the Groundlings influence. The Groundlings takes really talented comedic performers and teaches them to sit down and do waiter sketches. But I don't know why I couldn't get Sprockets out of my head when this. Oh shit! I'm just saying. Glenn had either a Halloween party where he's going as a Silicon Valley executive addicted to Silicon Valley executive addicted to Sonic, or just, you know, trying to look like a villain in a Lethal Weapon offshoot. Hold on, hi guys, thank you so much. By the way, Portland, yes, it's so sad. Portland is gone. All right, I got to catch my thing up. You'll touch my monkey, and now is the part in Sprockets where we dance. Yes. Yes, that is not a Q-tip in front of him. That is a Dove bar with the chocolate licked off. And yeah. Pardon me, by the way, I am still recovering. Yes, So I Married an Axe Murderer, really underappreciated, I agree. And is the seed of the Pentaverate. If you know, that's in the same universe, because his father tells the story of the Pentaverate to his buddy. And so the series that exists in that world exists in the same space as the So I Married an Axe Murderer thing. So Amanda Plummer is in the MCU. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, he's going as Mr. Joshua. No, that's John Paul McIsaac's bad guy. So here we go. This is this is very telling for a bunch of reasons. Why Hunter Biden's second laptop, Twitter, and Soros all relate. Okay, first of all, why is he saying second laptop? Because there is a laptop that Hunter Biden actually owns, that's actually his, that he turned over as evidence in the tax case that he is going through right now. It's an actual one of his own that he gave to the government, that went straight from him and his lawyers to the government as evidence, and then he I guess, presumably got it back when they were done copying it or whatever the fuck. That actually exists. So I would argue that is not the second laptop. That is an actual laptop. The other one of which he speaks, which is supposed to be the first one, is non-existent. Also, but they all tie together. And if we ever want to find somebody who can lace together, you know, the lunatic fringe, it's Glenn Beck.
Few of these together because I want you to see how corrupt our government is now.
Okay, how corrupt this is. You're going to know how corrupt our government is because of George Soros, who is not an American, Twitter, which is a private organization, and Hunter Biden's second laptop, which is really the first laptop, but is actually being used as evidence in a regular tax case.
Strangely timed DEA raid, whistleblower claims, and other red flags raise new questions about...
By the way, I know I'm sick and I sound like shit, but how many times has he sounded like this in the last, 6 months? Fuck, man, does he ever clear this shit out? I think he's allergic to stew.
About Hunter Biden and his family affairs. Now listen to this.
Whoops, hold on. Check. There we go. Run that by me again, stupid.
Whistleblower claims and other red flags raise new questions about Hunter Biden and his family affairs. Now listen to this. 2 months after the FBI subpoenaed the laptop Hunter Biden had abandoned at the Delaware computer repair shop.
Allegedly bullshit.
Subpoenaed the laptop Hunter Biden had abandoned at the Delaware computer repair shop. The DEA searched the office of Hunter's one-time psychiatrist, Keith.
Oh, it's this. Oh, okay, so look at this. We're returning back to Rudy Giuliani's first story. This is the Keith Ablow story. This is the other laptop that existed there. They were attempting to put this in, that he had left it in his psychiatrist's hands, and that as somebody at Fox, he was going to hand it over. And then Keith Ablow got busted for drugging and fucking his patients.
Ablow, and seized a second laptop Hunter had left with him.
No, an actual laptop that physically, by the way, Hunter claimed but did not ever remember leaving there. So they basically, the Fed said, we found this at his place. It says it's yours on it. We don't have a right to take it because you're not the case he is, but we don't know why he had your laptop. They gave it back to him.
The timing of the DEA raid and the fact that criminal charges were never filed against Ablow, coupled with the whistleblower's claims that the FBI buried evidence against Hunter Biden, raises questions of whether the search was a pretext just to recover Hunter's laptop and protect the Biden family.
Yes, by the way, again, this is still an alleged laptop. Because remember when this story initially came out, there was like this whole thing where like, why would I leave my laptop at that fucking guy's place? And they're like, it's yours. And he went, okay, and took it back.
So Ablow had lost his license the year before.
Yeah, why? Why did he lose his license a year earlier?
On a drug thing.
It was just a drug thing. It was drugs. He was smoking a bit of the reefer, was he?
He had written an improper prescription or something.
Oh, yeah, that was it. Sorry, my bad. He had written an improper prescription. Okay, hold on one second. Keith Ablow. Tell me what it takes to let you go. All right, so Keith Ablow was a popular fixture on the cable channel until 2017 and a high-profile therapist. He left a trail of vulnerable female patients who claim he abused them. He abused them, obviously, with poorly written prescriptions. Late in 2009, a 28-year-old woman, not long out of graduate school, found herself in a stressful job at a Bronx hospital and decided to be useful to talk to someone. Searching online, she came across the name of a psychiatrist, Keith Ablow. Dr. Ablow was familiar to her from his writing, both his journalism and his best-selling thrillers. He turned out Denial, Projection, Compulsion, Murder, Suicide. She had read all those, as well as Psychopath, a book about psychiatrists who prods the interior lives of strangers, only to kill them. Yeah. The woman, who was asked to be identified only by her confirmation name, Monique, found Dr. Ablow just as his media star was rising. That year, Roger Ailes hired him as a regular contributor on Fox News, where he remained until 2017, speculating about the mental states of political figures and presiding over viewer segments like Normal or Nuts. Dr. Ablow offered counseling in a conventional sense, but he also conducted life coaching via email. Monica engaged with him this way at first, but after she answered various questions about her past, mentioning adolescent bouts of depression, she agreed to see Dr. Ablow in person. His busy schedule meant that she would have to go to his primary office in Newburyport, Massachusetts, which is just way more parts. Newburyport, Massachusetts is a lot of it's a lot of syllables for no reason. All right. He was impressive to her, and so Monique made the 5-hour trip for her first visit. They had barbecue. No, I'm kidding. Over the next year and a half, she saw Dr. Ablow 2 or 3 times a week at a reduced rate of $350 an hour. The fuck? During this time, she found herself coming unwound. Her anxiety about work did not recede. On the contrary, she felt increasingly addled. She began cutting herself, something she hadn't done in years. Came to believe that Dr. Ablow had not only failed to help her, He left her more damaged than she already was. For his part, Ablow would maintain that whatever boundaries she thought he violated, the frequent texts and emails, the intimate revelations about his own life, were in the service of her treatment, well within the standards of sound psychiatric care. As Monique would discover, it would take years and several other patients coming forward with their own stories of manipulation for Dr. Ablow's transgression to be taken seriously. Let's see. By the time she left his care. Her new marriage had fallen apart. She developed a dependency on Valium, Xanax, and Adderall. She also said she had drained her savings of $30,000 to pay for the treatment. Again, Jesus fucking Christ. Most alarming, she became obsessively, insidiously reliant on Ablow's affirmation. On unusually hot in a coffee shop just north of the city, recounted how she had come under Dr. Ablow's thrall. When she finally disentangled, she filed a complaint with the disciplinary board in New York that oversees psychiatrists, a body that works secretly and can take years to respond to charges. In this case, when it finally completed its initial review, it found no reason to sanction him. Okay. And then on and on. And this on May 15th, Ablow's license was suspended in Massachusetts after investigation determined that his continued practice was a threat to the health, safety, and welfare of the public. He is appealing the ruling. This article is based on the Monique and others, including her current therapist, as well as legal and medical documents obtained by the Times. Dr. Ablow did not respond to attempts to speak with him directly, but his lawyer, Paul Searle, issued a statement on his behalf, writing in an email that his client did not breach the ethical confidentiality standards of the profession. Comment further, earlier this year, he referred to the claims Monique made in her legal complaint as groundless. It's starting to sound like Dershowitz. He has categorically denied all allegations. If he says outrageous, by the way. From the outset, Monique, blah, blah, blah. Money was an ongoing problem for her. And one other thing, blah, blah, blah. Many months later, during a disagreement on something relatively minor, she said Dr. Ablow suggested that he might have to hospitalize her. Hospitalizing a distraught psychiatric patient is not an unreasonable course in certain circumstances. I couldn't trust him with that at all. He was a graduate Brown. He hoped to become an ophthalmologist, blah, blah, blah. In November that year, Miss Lott received a circumspect email from a young woman who read her book and had questions about Dr. Ablow's involvement. It was Monique. She was wondering what Dr. Ablow was doing in a book about boundaries. She had no axe to grind, Miss Lott recalled, other than trying to make sense out of what happened. 2 years earlier, Monique had outlined all of her allegations against Ablow in a lengthy complaint she made with New York State's Office of Professional Medical Conduct. In these documents, she claimed Ablow had crossed multiple boundaries, overwhelming her with details about himself, that he had been attracted to his children's babysitters, for instance, and that his marriage was unfulfilling. He asked her to coffee frequently, encouraged her to move in with a female friend of his in Manhattan when Monique separated from her husband, only to later tell her that the roommate he recommended was nuts. He mentioned to Monique that he wanted to send a former all-star running back from the New York Giants to her as a patient. He also suggested that she date him. That's the Ablow Center in Newburyport, Mass, which is basically his house. Red flag, by the way. Should I stay in New York? 6 months, blah, blah, blah. For several years, Monique waited to hear something in conduct's office, and nothing happened. Where he addressed them and claimed to be the target of cancel culture, a male, a public person, and a Trump supporter, Dr. Ablow said in the interview. So am I surprised? Yeah, but shocked? No. In his rebuttal to the Massachusetts board, Ablow said that one of his accusers had a history of falsely accusing men of sexual misbehavior, and she had essentially confused what happened between them with the actions of recurring characters in his novels. Yeah, so. Just, he messed up a couple of things. Hold on one second. There is a, let's see, yeah, and then this is later. Here you go. This is March 9th. Boink. This is newer. Another former patient files suit against Keith Ablow. A New Hampshire woman who says she was treated by Dr. Keith Ablow for nearly a decade has now filed a malpractice lawsuit against him. The Londonderry, New Hampshire resident alleges that during the time of her treatment, he engaged in numerous boundary violations, including those of a sexual nature. This is all the stuff that was leading up to this. But, you know what? It's my bad. He just misfilled out a prescription.
And so a year before they do the investigation, he loses his license. A year later, when he's not allowed to write prescriptions or anything, the DEA comes in. The DEA comes in, busts open all of his files and everything else, and take the laptop from him. Now, why would you take...
By the way, they didn't just take the laptop. They took all of his electronic devices. The laptop that was included in this, that was allegedly Hunter Biden's, was part of several other devices. They just weren't his. So there were things he had. There was, like another patient's phone, shit like that he had that didn't belong to him. So the FBI can't return those things to you when they're not yours to possess in the first place.
Take the Hunter Biden laptop. Why would you? Well, the Drug Enforcement Agency? What does that have to do with anything?
Because they took all of his electronic devices, you fucking tool.
Took the laptop, left, and then never said anything to Ablow again. The Hunter Biden laptop was then returned to Hunter Biden.
Right, because if you find items in seizure at someone else's house when you're investigating them, you don't return them to the person that had them. You return them to the person that owns them. You're an idiot.
Now, in a Weekend article...
what do you mean now? Wait, hold on. You don't get to move on from that, you fucking tool. Stu, you're supposed to chime in, dipshit, and go, well, they can't return it back to him. It's not his. They found him in possession of a laptop with a bunch of the shit on it, and they can't give it back to him. They give it to Hunter Biden. He's like, I don't remember losing a laptop at this guy's house, but thank you very much.
Titled, Some Hunter Biden Allies Making Plans to Go After His Accusers, the Washington Post reported that Hunter Biden and his closest advisors are plotting an offensive for when Republicans assume control of the House.
Which, by the way, would be a sign of strength if Trump did it, but since Hunter Biden's doing it, it's a sign of desperation.
The strategy sessions were to fight an expected onslaught of investigations by House Republicans. It was happening at the home of Hunter Biden's friend and lawyer, Kevin Morris. If you remember who Kevin Morris is.
I know who he isn't. He isn't Keith Ablow. But anyways, go on.
He is he's famous for being the lawyer to the stars. He is the...
Dude is the son of the sitting president. We're surprised he'd have a top-notch lawyer, especially if he's planning to go on the attack.
The attorney for the co-creators of South Park. He also gained...
Oh, big lefties.
The only reason why I know him is because he footed the Hunter Biden overdue taxes totaling $2 million and just said, I don't have anything to do with Hunter. I just like him. And I just think this is wrong. Really? You don't want to kick in on my taxes?
Really nice.
Yeah, but in that guy's defense, Glenn, no one likes you. I was about to say not even Stu, especially Stu.
Really nice.
Nice perk if you can find a friend like that.
Now, David Brock.
But you just got to rub it in like that, Stu. You just got to rub it in that Glenn will never find a friend like that. We know, okay? Ouch.
Also a liberal activist, David Brock. Who's David Brock, Stu?
David Brock. He was the guy who started Media Matters, I believe.
Oh, Media Matters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big Clinton associate. I will say that Hillary Clinton also said that she started Media Matters, so I guess they worked together to do it.
Along with George Soros. Anyway, so Morris and David.
Well, I mean, he's included in anything. Do you even have to say his name? Isn't he just a silent partner in everything you hate, I guess?
David Brock joined a strategy session at the lawyer's house. Biden called into the meeting. The Washington Post.
Hunter, you mean?
Post reports that Morris suggested it was crucial for Hunter Biden's camp to be more aggressive. The defamation lawsuits the team could pursue against the Sun's critics, including Fox News, Eric Trump, Rudy Giuliani, outlined extensive research on two potential witnesses against Hunter Biden, a spurned business partner, Tony Bobulinski, and
right, the guy who was actually shopping the influence,
a computer repairman named John Paul Mac Isaac. So they're going to go after the computer repairman.
Well, I mean, they're going to question him under oath, I hope. They're going to depose him? Can we have that? Can we watch that? Is that video going to be available? Because fuck that guy. Again, he was in my small file of like hapless and, lightly involved dipshits, along with Mike Pillow initially, who also turned out to be a prick.
They feel there's a whole counter narrative missing because of the whole Hunter hater narrative that is out there, said Brock. So they got a SWAT team now, according to Brock, to ensure the media and public do not accept the false narratives that flows from congressional investigations. So David Brock started Media Matters. He started a new group, Facts First. And it's engaging Hunter Biden and those in his immediate circle. They're going to be reviewing research that Morris has conducted on Biden.
And watching all of my videos.
His adversaries. So it's a smear.
By the way, I'm glad for a nominal fee just to walk them through all of it. Because I know all this shit far too well.
Campaign. According to the Washington Post, they are focused on whether the data claimed to be recovered from the laptop, Hunter Biden's laptop, that he abandoned at the computer repair store,
which he didn't,
was improperly obtained and distributed, with Hunter and his allies suggesting that the materials released on that laptop didn't originate from that laptop.
Right.
Instead, the information may have been improperly taken from a laptop Hunter left with Ablow, who the Post says is close to Republican activist Roger Stone. And the Post reported that Morris has been overseeing forensic analysis of the laptop to discern.
By the way, I don't know where this, he's not even saying where this article is from, which is fucking irritating. You have all those screens. What are you reading? What is your source? Where are you getting this from? Put it up on the fucking screen so I can reference what the fuck you're talking about.
To determine if it was the basis of the hard drive.
It doesn't matter because he jumps around anyways.
So what they're alleging is he left this one at his psychiatrist's place. Ablow has said, I tried to get him to pick it up for over a year. He wouldn't pick it up. It's
weird. He didn't want to be seen at the Ablow Center and have somebody photograph him as a woman who would later file charges about being sexually manipulated by Keith Ablow was walking out at the same time. Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't just hang out on the fucking porch.
He had it locked away in a safe. And
yeah, which is weird too.
Now they're saying, oh, we're looking at this laptop because we think that's the source of all of the material. The biggest problem with this is
that John Paul McIsaac is full of shit and couldn't pick Hunter Biden out of a lineup and has never, ever been able to even describe the FBI agents that came by.
That there are authentic videos and other material that is unique. So we know some of the stuff that is on the Delaware hard drive, the one everybody knows about, has authenticated things that are unique.
Dude, it has shit stolen from his phone. We know those are that's actually a picture of him smoking a cigarette in the bathtub covering his nipples. Who gives a fuck? Yes, they got some of the stuff from real sources. Some of the shit is fake. They mix it all together and then they drop it off at a blind Mac repair shop owner's desk. Like, who's there? Yes, leave it for me. I'll get the fuck out of here. Of course some of it's real. How do you think deep fakes work, fucknut?
Unique on that laptop. So where did those come from? Because it's not a clone. It's not a clone.
What do you mean it's not a clone? It's a copy. Even the story is that there were 3 laptops. 2 of them didn't work. Well, one needed a keyboard, which he never charged Hunter for some reason. He just gave it to him. Off he went. I don't know what the fuck that was. Right? He never even talked about it. The other one was garbage. They just threw it in the trash. The third one, he was trying to extract the files, and then it kept shutting down. So he could start it up, copy some stuff over, and then it would go out, and then it would come back up, and then he would copy it, and then he would take it out. And I don't know fucking why he didn't just fucking unscrew the hard drive that's in there, and then don't boot it, just extract it from there. It's just stupid. I don't know what the fuck. anyways, McIsaac copied what files he could from the third waterlogged laptop that he allegedly got. Because remember, there were 3 dropped off. He didn't just abandon the laptop, supposedly. He abandoned 3 in multiple states of disrepair. This is such garbage.
So
you're an idiot. So you're an idiot. This is it. This is yes, the FBI agents who warned him that he might get killed over this. The fuck out of here.
What is happening here, and this is the important part.
None of this is important. None of it. There's not a single thing important about any of this. I'm dead serious. Like, it's even beyond the fact that there is no 10% for the big guy. There was an offer of doing that from Bobolinsky. Like, there was no, like, there's not even emails where Hunter's like, yeah, we got to throw some to my pops. That shit doesn't even exist. They keep showing the same fucking stupid IMs over and over and over again. Supposedly gigabytes of data, and what do we got? Some like gross photos of him in varying states of disrobe and in the presence of women allegedly that he paid for sex with. That's debatable, but whatever. None of my goddamn business. To each their own. They're adults. None of it ever panned out as far as Rudy. Remember when Rudy was going to drop off a copy of the hard drive at the Delaware State Police, which, by the way, if they got it from Rudy Giuliani, went, well, this will never go fucking anywhere. We can't try anybody even this. You're his political rival, and you dropped off. You've modified this one, fucko. It's had changes since you received it in your care. Like, this is useless. If we even fucking look at the fucking thing, it's fruit of the poison tree. This is so lame.
Is February 2020, the raid on Hunter's, one-time psychiatrist, Keith Ablow, received only a passing mention at the time with local...
By the way, if you'll notice, he jumbles the timeline. You notice this? He flip-flops the timeline part of it as far as Rudy's telling it, because remember, the laptop was allegedly dropped off in October of 2019. And all this, like, 90 days later, he had it, and he was supposed to pass it on to Rudy's attorney's friend and all that shit. He's been talking about this like the Ablow thing happened before, and now he's mentioned, like, he understands that nobody pays attention to the fucking timeline.
Outlets that the DEA claimed the execution of the search warrant was part of an ongoing investigation, but they didn't reveal any investigation. All of the charges against...
Yeah, they don't have to. It's an investigation.
Ablow had already been dealt with a year before.
No, it had not. And the idea was after he'd lost his license, was he still continuing to give people prescriptions at the Ablow Center, you fucking tool?
So the question is, did the DEA, 9 months after Ablow was punished for everything...
9 months after Ablow was punished for everything, in the middle, so they waited 9 months after that to go there. Notice how he's fucking with the timeline.
Did they actually go to get the laptop and use this as cover?
For what? The other one had already been part of the storyline at that part. Why would it provide cover? By the way, Glenn is doing a very simpleton bait and switch right here, which is that he's making it look like they only took Hunter Biden's laptop. They came there, they made Keith Ablow open his safe, which contained Hunter Biden's laptop, and took that and left everything else. Which is just, on its face, fucking ridiculous. If he actually said those words out loud or made the direct insinuation, you just go, that's fucking dumb. They didn't, obviously, Fox would have been interviewing Ablow for months.
By the way, the DEA only executed the search warrant after the FBI issued a grand jury subpoena in 2019 to get the first Hunter Biden laptop.
Why are you smiling? Yeah, we know that's the order. Also, alleged Hunter Biden laptop. Again, the point they're trying to make is that those things had been in his possession for over a year. That Ablow had this thing right about the time Rudy Giuliani was flying to Ukraine to try and bring back some of this compromise. With the idea that he left it there and Keith Ablow will just give it to people at Fox News.
So that seems a little odd.
No, it doesn't. You're a fucking tool. This is so stupid. I love the low res dinner theater murder she wrote bullshit part of this. This is so aggravating.
Now here's something else that's a little odd.
Okay, no, there's been nothing so far. You fucked around with the timeline. You're rotating stuff. You're pretending again. He's quoting from an article he's not even showing. So that's another thing. Yeah, there's 12,000 laptops. We're at this point there's 10,000. Hunter Biden owns Apple stock. Therefore, every Apple laptop is a Hunter Biden laptop.
Odd. Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, Gary Gensler, he took off all information about a meeting with Hillary Clinton and a meeting with George Soros from his calendar.
Okay.
In his private calendar, it shows a meeting with Clinton on August 20th, 2021. His public calendar lists.
By the way, none of these meetings were at Keith Ablow's house or before the 2020 election. Jesus Christ.
A meeting with.
Right, I'm Hunter Biden's laptop. That's right, Pukache. We are all Hunter Biden's laptop.
Soros, but hid the meeting's agenda. The private calendar shows that it was about a Wall Street Journal op-ed that Soros was going to make. The meeting with Clinton also happened, but it didn't include, his calendar didn't include the meeting, and somebody had to file a FOIA. They tried to hide it. They finally had to release the calendar, and it shows that he has met with Nancy Pelosi.
Oh my God. The head of this, one of the people in the Security and Exchange Commission has met with Nancy Pelosi.
Also a consultant, former White House official.
Oh my God. He's meeting with former White House officials too? Don't tell me. For lunch? Please tell me they went to Kramer Books. It's delicious.
And they've updated, but they won't say what these things were. The worst one that I can see so far is Soros.
Yes, it is. It's terrible. An atheist Hungarian Jew. Have you ever seen one of those eat? It's horrifying.
Hey, why is he trying to hide all of these things?
Well, it wasn't a professional thing. It was a private meeting, is the idea, that he changed this to his own personal calendar. And then he was like, yeah, my personal calendar is not part of my work. These are friends. I work in the fucking government. Again, why is Glenn trying to hide the fact that he doesn't know the name of the techs who were in the other room at all? And he often forgets Stu's name. Why is he having all references to that scrubbed? That he just doesn't give a fuck about the staff there and wouldn't hang out with them if they try to set him on fire.
Second, the Soros thing, on his personal calendar, it says regarding upcoming Wall Street Journal op-ed. So that op-ed, Soros blasted BlackRock for launching investment products for Chinese customers while he said, but by the way, this ESG thing is absolutely great. Then in the op-ed, he said, Congress should pass legislation and give the already powerful SEC more regulatory authority.
Oh my God. He met from somebody with the SEC, and he suggested that they deserve more power. And please tell me that this meeting happened at the Bohemian Grove.
The SEC is the one that is gunking up the works on just about anything.
Stu's name isn't even Stu, it's Steve. But Mike, I would not doubt it for a second. Jesus Christ. Is this why he has to have a fucking chalkboard? I can't follow any of this shit.
The energy policies, all of this coming from the SEC, banking, they are all powerful as it is.
No, they are not.
Did they meet, make some sort of deal?
As a matter of fact, the SEC has extreme limits on its charter.
And the payoff was Soros writing the op-ed demanding that we have even more regulation.
Who gives a shit if he writes an op-ed? What is that? What do you think that is? A fucking piece of legislation? Who cares? Hold on. Should we take a look at it? Hold on. Let's see. Soros op-ed, Wall Street Journal, SEC. BlackRock's China blunder, September 6th, 2021. Whoops. Oh, okay. Fuck you. Registered. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Son of a dog doodle. No, I don't want an update. No, I do not. Okay. There we go. All right. Save that. Yes. Okay, here we go. Just put it. Oh, quit it. Next. Hold on. Okay, continue to... Okay, here we go. So this is the article he's talking about. Get out of here. Okay. BlackRock's China blunder is the name... Blunder is the name of this Wall Street Journal opinion piece here. Pouring billions into the country now is a bad investment and imperils U.S. national security. Now, for the fucking record... A, that is true. B, Glenn Beck would agree. This is why Glenn Beck is having a hard time with this fucking thing. Assuming this is the one he's talking about. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, has begun a major initiative in China. On August 30th, it launched a set of mutual funds and other investment products for Chinese consumers. The New York-based firm is the first foreign-owned company allowed to do so. The launch came just weeks after BlackRock recommended that investors triple their allocations in Chinese assets. This will push billions of dollars into China. The Chinese market represents a significant opportunity to help meet the long-term goals of investors in China and internationally, said Larry Fink, the aptly named Larry Fink. Yeah, it's a terrible idea. Do you think, I mean, we haven't seen the other article, but holy shit. Do you think Glenn Beck is going to show that article, the title even? Of course not. You know why? Because his viewers would agree. Their fucking heads would explode. Yes, that was a dragon with $ skewers. It was one of those... It's not skewers. They're, you know how the dragon in the dragon parade is carried on a stick and you make it dance? They're making it dance with $. That's the artwork. Doesn't matter. Soros didn't doodle that on a napkin. Doesn't matter.
Another story that is...
It just skip right past it. Skips right fucking past it. Can I just say, like, Glenn Beck, fuck you. Holy shit. Like this, I mean, this is supposed to be part of a whole, the Keith Ablow laptop was found inside a fucking Gordian knot, man. It was wrapped up in an enigma. It's all part of this whole thing. It's the Cubans, man. They found their way into Louisiana and they're working with the mob. And that's how they were in Dealey Plaza on the fucking grassy knoll. He's tying all this shit together and just running by these things that, like, they only work this is like an essential to Glenn Beck's grift, is they only work if you don't pay attention to any of the details. And this one alone is a prime fucking example of what an asshat Glenn Beck is. This is fucking embarrassing. There is, not only is this inarguable, I would say, to everyone except people who work at BlackRock, I suppose. And it's anti-Larry Fink, it's anti-BlackRock, it's anti-China, like as far as an investment vehicle. It's right on the money, no pun intended. But Glenn would totally be in line with this. If anybody, like if he didn't know who had written it, he would be quoting this to Stu and doing his little eyebrow raise where he's like, huh? Eh? Huh? You piece of shit, you got, huh? You don't know this, do you sucker, you? Eh? And you'll put them up, you. I'll give it to you good. Sucko right there, buddy. Sorry, sometimes I fall into old Lenny Bruce bits. Yeah, you're a smart guy, huh? I give you about that 1-2, huh? So, yeah, like literally pouring billions of dollars into China now is a tragic mistake. Duh. Like, fucking, are you kidding me? Of course it is. There is nothing about this entire story other than the fact that George Soros wrote it that Glenn Beck finds objectionable. And he wants you to just, Soros wrote an op-ed on behalf of the SEC that they should be able to control these things, blah, blah, blah. And by the way, control foreign investments, by the way. Of course they should. They have limits on who can invest here and who can, American companies, especially investing in sanctioned countries, of which China is one.
Odd. The Sam Bankman-Fried.
Oh, my God. So this is going to be a big story, too. Hold on. Let's see. Elon Musk says... Yeah, where is it? Let's see. Tom Fenton writes this thing right here. While the Biden gang has been harassing and threatening Elon Musk and his companies, one of the worst scams in modern finance has been perpetuated under their nose by a regular White House Hill visitor and the second biggest Democratic donor. SBF was a major Dem donor, so no investigation. By the way, the reason SBF was a huge Dem donor was the Republicans were already on board with what Sam Bankman-Fried wanted to do. They're already on the fucking crypto bandwagon at this point when all this shit went down. Democrats weren't. And so he was spreading money all over D.C., trying like, hey, I'm a good guy. Sitting on panels, talking about there's got to be a way to make mining crypto more environmentally conscious and bullshit like that, while being this kind of hipster king of crypto. And nobody understood it. So you got a lot of old farts and, quite frankly, a lot of young farts in DC and New York particularly, going, wow, this whole crypto thing looks great. And the same people are like, gold is real money. We're like, you should invest in crypto. The same fucking people. That the idea was that Elon Musk was saying, because he's a he was a Dem donor, they're not going to go after him. They just arrested him. So, by the way, in the Bahamas, he's looking at like 125 years. They seem to be confusing. There you go. The socially sanctioned arrogance of SBF. Sam Bankman-Fried is what happens when nobody looks under the hood. Here you go. Let's see. There you go. This is New York Times. Arrested in the Bahamas. So I guess not. And then the next follow-up was he's going to get Epsteined. Well, he's not going to get Epsteined by fucking Democrats. He's going to be,
He's finally been arrested.
Right, he has, because it's the law, fucko. You don't get around this just because you're donating. That might be shocking to people like Glenn and, who's still a Trump sycophant.
And everybody's like, oh, yay, he's been arrested. He was arrested in the Bahamas. Marks the beginning of a new chapter in the FTX saga. Really?
Really? Really? Really? Really? So you think, don't you? That was 1 + 1 + 2 + 1. Not 1 + 2 + 1 was 1, but 1 + 1 + 2 + 1.
So they confirmed the charges against Bankman-Fried to include wire fraud conspiracy, securities fraud conspiracy, and money laundering.
Did they just repeat all those words, or did you just not know how to read the fucking sentence?
Wow. So now they're just trying to get him out of the Bahamas to the Southern District of New York. Oh, well, if the SEC and the federal government are now getting him to the Southern District of New York, well, we can count on that just being a done deal. Now, let me just point out, in a very...
First of all, of course it's going to be in the Southern District of New York, because that's where a large part of these financial transfers went through, you fucking tool.
Unfortunate development. Today was the day that he was supposed to testify publicly under oath to Congress.
He still can, while he's on, out on bond. He's offered up $250,000 with an ankle monitor. Don't think it's going to happen, but good luck.
And the Democrats are very upset that they didn't have a chance to question him. They're very, very upset. We wanted to question him, but now SEC gets involved. SEC, that's the guy who was just talking about the George Soros? Huh.
Jesus Christ. You can't even buy Bitcoin in fucking China. All cryptos are outlawed there. The fuck are you talking about? BlackRock's investment in China over infrastructure payments had nothing to none of this ties together. None of it. What the living shit is he talking about? Holy God. It's kind of hilarious. It's very Clouseau. It's getting a very, yes, the man found in the elevator shaft was somehow related to the fellow who was driving at the time, who came across and entered the airplane, but no one noticed that the man with the flowers was standing there the entire time. Now, where was I? Someone's dead, right?
Anyway, the SEC gets involved, and now he's under arrest, and so he can no longer testify.
What the fuck are you talking about? He's going to testify. Everybody's going to testify against him. He's going to roll on the other people in his company, or they're going to roll on him, dummy.
Publicly, in front of Congress, that's weird.
I should have stayed in bed. I'm still a little sick, and I should have just napped through this. I could have just played this, and it's so self-evidently dumb that you guys would have been able to spot every aspect of this. You're smart. You're keen. You're adorable. You have a wry sense of humor. You look great with your hair pulled back, too.
Isn't it? Twitter.
Isn't it? Jesus Christ. This is the stupidest fucking argument. And what does this have? Please tell me Sam Bankman-Fried went to Keith Ablow for Adderall. Please tell me. By the way, Sam Bankman-Fried was using yeah. Causes risk. Okay. Where is it? But concise. Okay. Psychopharmacology of the FTX crash. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so you know how a lot of people, and Trump included, they use Adderall and again, which can make you racist or more racist, I suppose, or bigoted in general, depending, because it creates hyperfocus. If you have a focus problem and you can't stay focused, these drugs will help you focus normally. If you don't have a focus problem and you just want to use them to hyper narrow your focus so that you can use them as a brain wonder drug, it will also exclude things that you should be factoring into your thinking all the time. That's what the fucking drugs are for. But if you have ADHD, it'll bring you back into the normal spectrum. If you're already in the normal spectrum, it hyper narrows you and makes you a bigot. So it's one of the dangers that comes from this. Okay, so and a lot of times, by the way, they don't work for very long. So SBF was on this one drug, MSAM, which you can see. Yeah, here's a picture of it. Hold on a second, see if I can bring this up. See this right here? MSAM is like a focus drug, and you wear it as a patch. Yeah, so MSAM is a brand of selegiline, a medication used since the 60s to treat Parkinson's disease. Is a MAOB inhibitor. It's an enzyme that breaks down dopamine. If you inhibit it, you get more dopamine. So in a very broad sense, it gives you more dopamine. So what it does, it makes you crave work. Essentially, you put this patch on and you get a jolt of energy, of dopamine from whatever you're doing. So if it keeps you interested and focused on whatever the task at hand is, because you get pleasure out of it. It hijacks your pleasure centers in your brain, right? Okay. So everybody wants magic bullets. Drugs that increase dopamine is one of these ways, but not any of the others. Treat attention problems without causing hallucinations. Cure tremors without causing hypersexuality. But it's tough. There are dozens of dopamine-based drugs, and all of them succeed in several ways and fail in others. Adderall mostly helps attention, but sometimes causes a little paranoia on the side. And by the way, that paranoia is not just a random attachment. The paranoia that comes from those kind of things is that you're so hyper-focused, there must be something past this. And your brain is kind of like lasering in on this one particular zone that it's part of your brain is going, aren't there other things to consider here? And your brain's going, no. And another part of your brain goes, I think there are. And it sounds bad. Anything that's not what we're focusing on is considered bad. So it must be terrible. That's where the paranoia comes from. Antipsychotics mostly prevent hallucinations and delusions, but also cause anhedonia. If a good doctor carefully chooses the right drug and dose, you mostly get what you want. Otherwise, choose 2d4 random side effects from the appropriate side of the table. Selegiline is even less magical bullet than usual. People call it an antidepressant, anti-Parkinsonian, and stimulant, and all of those descriptions are accurate. And it does one more unrelated thing. It disables a key digestive enzyme that prevents foods from killing you. For boring technical reasons, some pharma companies thought this might not happen if you delivered Selegiline through a patch on the skin. For other boring technical reasons, the FDA disagreed and said people on the Selegiline patch still shouldn't eat those foods. You can't eat meat, for example. And where is it? Yeah, enzyme, Okay, so a lot of these have this kind of shit on them. This is the drug he was on. See if this looks familiar. These are the contraindications. Impulse control disorders. Dopaminergic agents used for Parkinson's disease have been associated with compulsive behaviors such and or loss of impulse control. Dude lived in a panerotic love nest in the Bahamas with a bunch of other people and was basically gambling with everybody who was investing in in Coinbase and FTX with their money. He was shuffling it all over the fucking place, thinking he'll never get caught, which is manifested as pathological gambling, libido increase, hypersexuality, uncontrolled spending of money, binge eating, and or other intense urges. Causality has not been established, and controversy exists as to whether this phenomenon is related to the underlying disease or prior behaviors, addictions, or drug therapy. So, this motherfucker, MBS, what is it? SBF, yeah. Yeah, there it is. It's the same. Here you go. This is the same one they were holding up. Autism Capital. Is this somebody putting this? Extra confirm. The stimulant patch the Sam preferred was M-SAM, a drug normally used to treat depression or Parkinson's, but used off-label for its alertness and focus benefits. A lot of these dudes are using off-market nootropics to try and give them some sort of like cutting-edge, tech king powers. And it's fucking garbage. Because of all the secondary contraindications. One of which, of course, in this case, was turning you into a nutcase gambler who will gamble away other people's life savings.
Apparently shadow banned political candidates under the old ownership. Musk came out yesterday afternoon with, what was it, number 5? Twitter number 5.
Twitter files, yep.
Yeah. Where
a little bit of Twitter on my side. Sorry. Twitter number 5. It's just Rocky Mountain Mike, have at it. And this has been set like dud after fucking dud.
They, argued back and forth about whether they should get rid of Trump. They finally came down to the idea that, yes, Trump is probably a Nazi. He's akin to Hitler.
Well, he did, allegedly, according to his ex-wife, who he buried on a fucking golf course, would keep Mein Kampf on his nightstand.
And we have to take action. There's also...
Which, by the way, I don't believe he ever read Mein Kampf, but I think he is the kind of person who would put it on his nightstand just to scare other people like a fucking prop.
One of the guys who was the head of the, the ethics committee or whatever.
Whatever.
Looks like he might be a groomer. Might be somebody. I mean, they're hiding now his dissertation from college, but it was all about kids should have access to sex.
Oh, he's talking about Yoel Roth from Twitter, not somebody from Congress. I was like, who's on the ethics committee?
Toys, and kids should have access to their own bodies, and maybe we should start looking at kids as sexual beings. Oh, he was the guy. Huh. And then
No single person knocked Trump off of Twitter. They're trying to lay it at this guy Yoel Roth's feet, but there was a huge back and forth with everybody about this.
Wait, they were letting child porn through in Twitter. That's weird.
Were they, though? I mean, I didn't see any, but I wasn't looking for it. Glenn, would you like to point some out?
Program.
The Glenn Beck program. The dumbest series of arguments you'll ever hear. Arguments so stupid, you'll make the Devin Nunes face. Fuck. God damn, that was stupid. Hi, you're watching House Sparks Mega Worldwide. That's Glenn Beck's... that's a prime example, according to Glenn Beck. Again, I did not pick that clip. They posted that clip in its entirety. And it was supposed to deal with multiple elements of these stories and fuse them all together so we could understand them better. Jesus Christ.